activation of the immune response can be described as the three signaling pathways. Okay, here in case of the signal 1, here in case of the signal 1, what happens? Here binding of antigen on the MHC2 class 2 protein on antigen presenting cell. We can say simply as here displaying of antigen on the antigen presenting cell through the MHC2 protein. So which is binding to the T cells receptor. This binding is binding and recognition by the CD4 receptors. These are the co-receptors of the T cells. Okay. So after the binding of these two, that may activate the signal 1 transduction pathway. Here signal 1 transduction pathway, how it may could takes place means here binding of the T cells with MHC2 complex, and this binding and recognized by the CD4 co-receptors of the T cells. In case of the signal 2, we can simply refer it as co-transmission. How the co-transmission occurs? Here the co-transmission occurs in between the CD28 cells of the CD28 co-receptors of the T cells, in between the CD80 and 86 of the antigen presenting cells. Here, so because of the signal 1 and 2, that may causes the activation of T cells. Okay, so because of the signal 1 and 2, that may activate the lot of signal transduction pathways, that ultimately that may increases the activation of the calcium, that may increase the calcium levels. Signal 1 and 2, that may causes the lot of signal transduction pathways, that may increases the level of the calcium in the intracellular environment. So because of increasing the intracellular environment, that may causes the activation of the calcineurin. Here the calcineurin is an enzyme. Here because of the calcineurin, inactivated NFAT cells, NFAT, which is converting into the activated NFAT. NFAT nothing but nuclear factor of activated T cells. So these activated NFAT cells, by the dephosphorylation, they may release, that may liberate the phosphate. Okay, so these activated NFAT cells which is enter into the nucleus. So after enter into the nucleus, that may causes the activation of genes, activation of the genes which are responsible for the releasing of interleukin 2. Okay, so here released interleukin 2 again, which is passing to the, which is exposing to the surface of the T cells. So this released interleukin 2 exposed to the surface of the interleukin 2, which is binding to the interleukin 2 receptors. Okay, after binding to the interleukin 2 receptor, that may activate the mTOR. mTOR nothing but the mammalian of targeted rapamycin. So after the activation of mTOR, that may causes the progression of the cell cycle. Here the progression of the cell cycle, that may leads to the probably G1 phase to the S phase. The progression occurs, that may result in what happened here, the T cell proliferation and differentiation of the T cells that could be takes place. Here we are giving the any of the immunosuppressant agent that could be active by that may be active by any of this pathway. Okay, in case after releasing of interleukin, that is binding with the interleukin receptor, that may activate the mTOR. So this process we can simply refer as signal 3 pathway. Okay, simply the difference between the signal 1 and 2 is here signal 1 and 2, that may causes the releasing of that may causes the several transduction pathways. Okay, after released interleukin 2, that is binding with the interleukin 2 receptor, that may activate the mTOR, that may causes the signal 3. Okay, we will see the site of action of the immunosuppressant agents on this pathway. Okay, first what happened here? So some of the agents, for example, take some of the agent that may suppress the calcineurin, that may inhibit the activation of the calcineurin. Okay, so what are the agents? For example, take cyclosporin and tacrolimus. Cyclosporin as well as the tacrolimus, that may inhibit the activation of the calcineurin. Okay, and next one agents, some of the agents are that may inhibit the activation of mTOR. Okay, so what are those agents? For example, mTOR agents are the sirolimus and everolimus. So these two agents that may inhibit the activation of the mTOR agents. Okay, we will see some of the agents that may suppress the interleukin 2 receptors, or these are the interleukin 2 antagonists. For example, what are those agents? So for example, okay, so for example, bacillizumab and daclizumab. Both these means bacillizumab as well as the daclizumab, these are the interleukin 2 antagonists. So these directly block the, so these agents are directly block the interleukin 2 receptors activation. Okay, we will see some of the agents. So for example, here this one is the antigen. So antigen which is displayed on the MHC2 protein, so resulting from the MHC2 complex, okay, on the antigen presenting cell. So these complex which is binding with T cells receptor here, that may causes the activation of the signal 1 transduction pathway. So some of the agents that may bind with antigen, that may block the binding with receptors. For example, take anti-CD3 antibodies. For example, moramonab. Okay, so these moramonab agent that are binding with the antigen, that may form the complex that may prevent the binding with T cells receptor. So these are the different location of some of the immunosuppressants are going to be act. Some of the drugs that are active by interact with the cell cycle, so that are interact with the phases of different cell cycle. For example, that the drugs are cytotoxic drugs. What are these cytotoxic drugs? For example, so cyclophosphamide, methotrexate, So for example, these are the agents that are interacting with the cell cycle. They may suppress the activation of the cell cycle, okay, from the J1 phase to S phase.